can a man walk away from a child that he has been raising for 3, 5, 10, 15 years simply because the DNA test shows that he's not the biological father? Hear me out here. I'm not being insensitive.
No.
I know that his world has just been turned upside down. I know he feels betrayed. He's devastated. I empathize. I sympathize with his predicament. However, how is one able to walk away from a child that one has bonded with, loved, nurtured, poured blood and sweat into, simply because the DNA test shows that you're not the biological father?
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
All right. What's going on, family? This time for Nopickspodcast.
What's good, family? It's Joe, Nopickspodcast.
It's Chelsea.
Welcome back, Joe.
Thank you.
All right, so listen. So before I even ask the question that I wanted to ask, right? So I wanted to just get it started, right? But I want to finish what her comments were until we get a better idea of what she's trying to say. But yeah. So
This is real though, right?
No,
this is not
real, yeah.
This is not satire, right? Just want to make sure.
Not satire. But listen, this is a common sentiment that a lot of women be saying when we've heard this before. So
I understand getting rid of the wife or the girlfriend. The word I actually want to use starts with a W and rhymes with shore. Get rid of the W. But the children or the child, the innocent child, it is flummoxing to me. Now,
What?
I'm not a man, and I do not know how this impacts men. I also know that there's deep shame. But where I'm in that predicament, of course I would be devastated. I'd be hurt and betrayed. But then I'd let the children know, or the child know. You may not be my biological child, but you're still my child. I love you. You're my child in my heart. I've bonded with you. I've raised you. So nothing changes. Now, I know a lot of men worry about, then I have to continue paying I have to pay child support now that we're not together. So what? I'd pay the child support. Because you know what? Even though everything has changed, nothing should have changed, because it's still the child that I raised, bonded with, and loved. And in an attempt not to pay child support, one ends up cutting off one's nose to spite one's face. Because you got to look at the big picture, the relationship with that child, the continued relationship, and the ability to go ahead and raise and nurture that child, because you already have that bonded relationship. But once again, because I'm not a man, I do not understand how anybody can walk away from a child. Story time.
all right.
I don't want to hear a story. No, I don't want to hear a story, bro.
All right. So listen, hey, Joe. All right. I'm gonna go with you first. I'm gonna go with you first on this one, Joe. All right. So my question is this. It's not even really a question, but do you see the logic in a man walking away when DNA evidence shows that he's not the father?
Wait, who you asking me or Chelsea? Who's going first?
I'm going with you. I'll go with you first.
Oh my! This is real, right? I just want to make sure this is not like a skit. This is.
Joe, first of all, listen. This is why I'm gonna argue why it's real. You could 100% see a woman making this kind of argument. You could 100% see a woman making this kind of argument.
All right. So the question is, how do I feel about where? So I'm gonna answer the question now. What was the question? I just. All right. Yeah. What's the question?
Do you see the logic in men walking away from kids after they find out they are not the biological father?
Yes, I do. I definitely do. I believe that child is going to be a constant reminder about what happened, about the affair, about the infidelity, about the betrayal. And so I definitely feel that way, and the shoe has been on the other foot, where like men have gone out and made babies and come back and they're like, well, that's my kid, I got to take care of it. And then the mom, the one who stays, has to see that child every weekend or whenever he has them. And it's a constant reminder of that betrayal, especially if the kid looks like the other parent, because you just know, like, it reminds you of that. Right. So, yeah, I do see the logic, bro. Like, I can only imagine being invested in a child from when the child was like, I don't know, I guess since birth maybe. And then at 5, you find out. So you got 5 years of time in, and then you realize this ain't my child I've been raising. my biggest feeling, and I'll keep it short because I want to hear what Chelsea has to say, and then we can expand, right? Is that, yes, I do understand the reasoning. I do think that a man is within reason to want to walk away from that child's life and a woman because it's going to be a constant reminder of that betrayal. That's my short answer.
All right. So same question, Charles. So do you see the logic in a man walking away from a kid if he finds out that he's not the biological father?
Yes. Because
Fair.
Why?
Fair. I said that's fair. That's fair. Like
Joe looked like he was gonna.
I'm just like, I'm glad when we get some women that agree. I'm like, yes, all right, cool.
Well, because first of all, that's a lot of financial responsibility that, like, if it's not his kin. So I don't know a lot about child support, but
right.
She said that he would still pay child support even if he's not with the mom anymore. So I don't know how that makes sense. If it's not his kin and he's not with the mom, why is he still responsible for?
Because his name is probably on a birth certificate.
Yeah, and in PA, if you guys are married, you're responsible for that kid. If the kid is had within the marriage, so say I'm with Sarah, and Sarah and I are married. Sarah and I are separated though, right? We separated for like 6 months. She gets pregnant by Sam. It's implied like I'm going to be on the hook for child support because it's implied that the kid is mine because it was had within marriage. So I'll have to pay child support until I'll have to fight it.
Even if he's separated from her?
Yeah. Yes. And in some states, you don't even have to be married. In some states, even if you meet a woman and she already has a kid and you're with her for a period of time, after you guys separate, you can still be you still have to pay child support for that child in some states too. It doesn't have to be your child, no biological or not. You still are going to be financially responsible for that child. And if your name is not on the birth certificate, the government can also add your name to that child's birth certificate, even though it's not biologically your child, if you've been with that woman for an extended period of time, for a certain period of time. So this is real.
Or if you adopt a kid. Because I've seen situations where dudes adopt a kid and be like, listen, you mine now, you got my, and then them and the wife break up, and then it's like, okay, well, the state is like, you adopted them, this is your responsibility now. So it's no longer the biological father's responsibility, it's your responsibility because you went through the legal paperwork of adopting the kid.
Right.
That is so wild.
Yeah. That's crazy, right? It's crazy.
So my thing
I
is,
see the logic and
yeah,
and him leaving.
Yeah, my thing is, listen, man, like I think that's like one of the top two worst fears for men, of raising a kid, having a kid, and treating them as if you're own, and then you find out later that they're not yours. This isn't a fear that women can relate to because the kid comes out of you. So it's like your prerogative is making sure that kid is taken care of. So let's just say hypothetically, right? So let's just say you've been banging 3 dudes, right? You've been banging 3 dudes at the same time.
Living life.
In Dubai.
Yes.
So you got one dude, Jerome, packing 12 inches, blowing your back out. You know what I mean? Joe's cracking. Packing 12 inches, blowing your back out. You going crazy, right? And then you got Jerome. Jerome got average. Jerome got 4. You know what I mean? Like below average, right? Jerome got 4. He's a good dude though. He making like 90 grand a year. He's able to take care of his kid. Then you got a third dude, just a YN type nigga, just ready to just run and gun, right? He ain't got no job. You get pregnant at the same time you dealing with these dudes. 2 dudes ain't got no job. 1 dude got a job. Like, who would you pick to be like, okay, like I want you to be responsible for my kid?
Well, obviously the one that has making $90K because I'm gonna need someone to help support the kid.
Right.
I don't need 2 deadbeats that aren't working.
I mean, I can't blame you for that choice. That is the smartest choice. I'm going to be honest, bro.
It's the smartest choice.
Nothing says I still can't see him on the side,
but but my issue is, if it's not his, then he will never know until he do 23andMe, and then he come home when he 26 and be like, what's the dude name I gave? The lame dude name with the Jerome. Did I say Jerome? I think Jerome was the packing 12 inches.
Oh yeah.
You said the
middle dude that's making 90 grand or whatever. He pulls up the 23andMe and he's like, "Oh, you're not on my family tree." Like, and that right there, that can make that guy just snap and take everybody out in the crib. Like that's something that will spark a man. Now, women can't understand. They're like, I mean, well, the kid had to be taken care of. Like, I mean, okay, it may not be your biological kid, but I mean,
you were the one that fucked around and.
But that's irrelevant though, because that's not really relevant in those conversations. Because she's like, listen, all we know is a kid was conceived during the situation.
No.
This kid needs to be taken care of. Who's taking care of this kid? It ain't gonna be Jerome or the YN. We need the upper middle class dude to help take care of this kid.
Mr. Reliable. We're gonna call him Mr. Reliable.
Mr. Reliable. So
yeah, I think, and Ty makes a good point too, Chelsea, and you'll probably understand this too. Like, women always know who the parent, if they're the parent, right? Women never have to second guess if that kid is theirs. Like, you literally carry that child and you give birth to that child. Like, you know it is your child unequivocally. Mm-hmm. Men, however, we don't got that certainty. We're just like, we kind of hope she ain't messing around. We kind of hope it's mine. You know what I mean? But then when I need a blood transfusion or I need an organ and I go to test my kid's blood and he ain't got a match because my kid ain't mine. You know what I'm saying? Then I'm like, wait, what's going on? Like, you know, so, but women always know who the parent is. Like, they never have to question that. So, but take it back to the whole, like, the child support thing and just the kid not being there. Is like, it's sad because I used to tell Ty this, Chelsea. I used to say, I used to think that being a stepfather was a noble cause, right? Like, you meet a woman, she's down in the dumps, or maybe she's just working hard, trying to make ends meet. You fall in love with her. You realize she has a kid. And if you're a stand-up dude, you're like, all right, I love you, which means that I got to love you and everything that comes with you, right? You are a package. So if I love you, I accept the package. And then you step into that life and you try, you know, and you think you're doing something noble. That used to be the case. I used to think that when I was younger. And now, Chelsea, times have changed so much that, like, I honestly feel like being a stepfather is just a joke and that it's a thankless job. You know what I mean? Because I feel like that man who does step up to take care of another man's child, especially if that guy is not there in that kid's life, like if you're the only one actively helping parent that child, it's a thankless job because, you know, you can't discipline that child the way you want to. If it's a girl, you got to be worried about her accusing you of something when she gets a little bit older and she, you know, and she's hitting puberty. Like, child, if you were in a relationship and you, like, imagine being in a relationship, bringing your daughter into a relationship with a man, you're with him, and for whatever reason, your daughter says he touched me, and let's say she's lying. Who would you believe?
I mean, I would probably believe my daughter.
Right? You would vibe with your daughter, right? You would probably think, why would my daughter lie? Right? And that's the thing. Where, like, a man stepping into a situation like that should be in the back of his mind when he enters, like, a woman's life if she has daughters or one daughter. It doesn't matter. Like, that's always a possibility. You could try to reprimand her and she get mad and be like, Mom, he touched me. Yeah. You could take away her phone, you know what I mean? Try to discipline her somehow, take your phone away because you was back talking or you messing up in school. Mom, he touched me. And mom will probably believe her. You see what I'm saying? Or if you break up after a 12-year relationship and you done raised that child for 12 years, once you separate, you probably never see that child again too. And that happens so often that you fall in love with these children as well. You raise them, you put so much into them, not just financial, but that's a big part of it, but emotional investment. You go to the graduations, you go to the proms, you're there, you know what I mean? And then when you separate, she's like, no, you can no longer have access to this child. Yeah. And then the man is just like, damn, like, I love this kid. Like, if he or she was my own. And now that all that time is just gone. You see what I'm saying? So being a stepfather for me is just really a thankless job, and it's too much risk. And at the end of the day, you're also raising another man's seed. It's not your seed.
That's wild because I never thought of stepfathers in that. Well, stepfathers in that.
Right. It's a lot to take on as a man. That's why we need women to
taking the kids in and okay.
So how about this line that she hit Joe and Joe? She said, "Why would you not take care of the kid simply because you're not the biological father?"
What else is there?
Bro, she goofy. She is goofy, bro. Like, she is so goofy, bro. Like, and she was dead serious.
I if she had a filter on.
Yeah, right. She probably did.
She definitely had a filter on.
She probably did.
Eyes look fake. Her eyelashes, a lot of that shit look fake.
I feel like her lips weren't matching up with like.
Yeah.
But the audacity to be mad, to question why a man would leave that situation instead of starting off with, yo, she cheated and had a whole child and lied to you. That wasn't even her starting point. Her starting point is, why would a man walk away if he found out that child wasn't his via DNA? That's wild.
That is.
Yeah.
That's wild. But no. So yeah. So I thought this was interesting. Yeah. So Chelsea, just so you, and for the family too, y'all, we got to make sure we speak to the family too. Like, understand, like men, like certain things matter, right? And we really, being a stepfather nowadays is just not worth it, because I feel like stepfathers aren't appreciated. There are men who step up. I hear sometimes in the comments in these videos where girls or women are just like, I had a man come into my life when my mom didn't have nobody, and he helped raise me, and he sent me through college, and he was amazing. But that is too far in between. What I hear more often is men who got effed over, screwed over, no longer can see those child or have access to those kids. You know what I mean? Like, and on top of that, you can't discipline those kids. There's always like a stepdad box that they put you in, because you ask a woman, if I have to physically discipline your child, am I able to put hands on that kid? Especially if it's a boy. Can I put hands on him? No. Okay, so I have all the financial responsibility for this child, but I have no authority, and I can't do any of the disciplinary. Like, what? All the financial responsibility, but I can't do any of the discipline. What? Why would a man want to step into that situation? Like, seriously, why? Right? It's too much risk.
Nah, facts.
Too much risk.
All right. Well, listen, let us know what y'all think, family. Like, comment, subscribe, and until next time.
Next time.